When I married Sarah, I believed we had built something strong and unshakable. We had a modest house, decent savings, and dreams of starting a family. For years I worked long hours, taking every extra shift I could, just so we could live comfortably. But instead of gratitude, I got betrayal. Sarah started seeing another man, hiding behind excuses of working late and going out with friends. It all came crashing down one evening when she packed her bags and walked out, straight into the arms of someone else. At first, I was destroyed. My world collapsed overnight. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, and couldn't understand how the woman I loved could so easily replace me. But once the shock faded, something inside me hardened. She wanted to leave, fine, but she wasn't going to live off my hard-earned money while playing house with her new lover. The very next morning, I went to the bank and shut down every joint account. The credit cards I had given her were cancelled. The car in her name? Repossessed because it was registered under my company. Within a week, Sarah went from living in comfort to scrambling for basic needs. I thought that would be the end of it, but I underestimated her. One afternoon, a man in a sharp suit showed up at my door. He introduced himself as Sarah's attorney and demanded I continue supporting her financially, claiming she had become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. I almost laughed in his face. I told him that lifestyle was built on my sacrifice and loyalty. Two things Sarah had thrown away. The lawyer tried to threaten me with divorce settlements and spousal support claims. But I had come prepared. Every receipt, every expense, every record of my overtime hours was neatly filed. I had proof that Sarah had contributed next to nothing financially. On top of that, I had evidence of her affair, photos, messages, even hotel receipts she had been careless enough to leave behind. When I slid the file across the table, the lawyer's smug expression vanished. He cleared his throat, shuffled the papers, and suddenly started talking in circles. He knew exactly what those documents meant. Not only would Sarah fail to get a single penny, but she could also end up paying me damages for breaching the trust of our marriage. Word must have reached her quickly, because Sarah called me that evening, her tone much softer than before. She said she just wanted to talk things through, and that maybe we could find a middle ground, but her voice was shaky, desperate. She didn't miss me, she missed the money. I didn't give her the satisfaction. I told her calmly that our marriage was over and that her lawyer wouldn't be calling again once he realized how badly she had played her cards. I also mentioned I'd be filing for divorce myself, making sure she walked away with nothing but her guilt. The silence on the other end of the line told me she understood. Weeks later, the divorce papers were finalized. The judge reviewed everything and sided entirely with me. Sarah got nothing, no alimony, no share of my savings, and not even the car she thought was hers. Her lawyer didn't even show up to the last hearing. He had already admitted defeat. I heard through mutual friends that her new man wasn't as generous as she'd imagined. Without my support, Sarah struggled to keep up the lifestyle she was so desperate to maintain. She had gambled on comfort and greed, and she had lost everything. As for me, the bitterness slowly turned into freedom. I no longer had to carry the weight of someone who saw me only as a wallet. I rebuilt my life, poured my energy into my career, and eventually found peace in knowing I had stood my ground. What Sarah thought would be her victory became her downfall. She left me believing she was upgrading, but in reality, she had stepped off a cliff with no safety net. And I didn't bother to catch her. In the end, my revenge wasn't loud or dramatic. It was simply taking back control of what was mine and letting her taste the consequences of her choices. Sarah learned too late that betrayal doesn't just cost love, it costs comfort, security, and dignity. She walked away with nothing, while I walked away stronger. Looking back, I don't regret a single decision. She left me for another man, but I made sure she paid the price. My silence, my preparation, and my refusal to bend broke her more than any shouting match ever could. And that to me was justice.